Welcome to Healer Within podcast series. There are many pathways to healing that fall outside the realm of Western medicine and traditional approaches. The purpose of this podcast series is to educate and inspire the community to explore the multitude of lesser utilized pathways to healing the mind, body, and soul. Hypnosis, yoga, meditation, energy healing, sound healing, and yes, even art, music, and dance. For these self-empowering, soul-driven, and vibration-raising modalities exponentially promote and unleash the healer within. Through this series, I hope you will begin to reclaim your power and discover your own unique formula for healing by engaging and aligning the soul, the mind, and the body with the frequency of the higher self. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your healing journey. Hello, and welcome back to Healer Within. This is Amy Marohn, your host and hypnotist. Today I have guest Susan Lee of Leeside Manor in-home senior daycare. Susan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Susan, today we're going to talk about your business, your world, taking care of seniors. And I'm going to start just with a simple question. I'm going to ask you to go back in time to share a little bit more about your personal story and personal inspiration for opening the company that you own.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking. About 13 years ago, my dad was in his early 80s, and I had a friend I was working with whose father was the exact same age. They were both still mentally capable and with it, but they were bored out of their minds.
Okay.
So me and her were looking, both of us together, because that was easier, looking for a place for them to be social. And we started by going to the big assisted livings thinking they would have fun things to do, and they probably do. But back then, at the time, they would not even give us a tour unless we would disclose their complete financial portfolio so that they would know. They told us it was so that they would know what kind of room they could afford.
Interesting.
And we thought, well, fine, we're not doing that, because if I don't know if there's a movie theater or a bowling alley or a pool, then why would I tell you anything, right?
Right, completely.
And so then we went to the senior centers in the area. And this is years ago. I think things have changed, but back then they told us they couldn't come and spend the day. They had to come to just the program and be able to leave right after the program. And neither of them could drive.
Oh.
So then my friend said to me, we were getting pretty frustrated. We were looking and looking. We went to several senior centers. She said, in King County, they have daycare centers. We couldn't find a daycare center for adults. We decided to open one.
I love it.
And because it's in my home, it was a adult or senior in-home daycare.
Okay.
And that's how we got started. And it was immediately very welcome in the community, immediately pretty popular.
Oh, I can only imagine. And Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, was that 2016?
We started looking in 2013.
Okay.
We incorporated in 2016 because we had a learning curve to go through. We had to, contact the state, find out what the rules and regs were. But we had one or two clients dropping in. So it, why we figured it out. In 2016, we finally incorporated the business, or we made it an LLC. And that's when we claim we got started. or the
Yeah.
business started.
Yeah. Susan, what an amazing and beautiful personal story. I would love for you to share a little bit more about some of your clients and the reasons people reach out to you for help. How do they find you and what do they need? Right?
So the number one reason people are looking is they want relief.
Mm-hmm.
It is an exhausting labor of love. Mom and dad, of course, want you to care for them for the rest of their life, and we want to care for our loved ones for the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
But it's exhausting because
Mm-hmm.
they need more and more of us,
Mm-hmm.
even just our time. If they don't need help with things, they're bored. They want our time.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened with me. Was my dad wanted my time, and I'm like, I'm busy. I have kids. I have
Yeah.
a job. I have a career. And you want my time when I'm here constantly. And that's the number one reason people reach out to me, is they want some kind of relief.
Uh-huh. Well, as you're sharing this, right? I mean, I think of certainly the situation I'm in. We're in the sandwich generation,
Yes.
right? Where we've got aging parents who um, need and want our time and our energy and our resources, but still, even if we have adult kids, you and I both know there's
They
no
still need us.
there's no magic season where our adult children automatically become independent,
That
especially
is so
now,
true. Yeah.
right? It isn't that the truth? And then so and then there's the boredom factor. You know, I share a space with my almost 85-year-old mom, and all the time, you know, what I ask her, what about the senior center? And she's like, why would I want to hang out there? And you know, because some of the programs in our community can be a little bit limiting.
And, they're bored. They can't get around like they used to. Watching TV all day, every day
Yeah.
speeds up the decline
Yeah.
and gets boring.
Completely.
Reading a book 8 hours a day gets boring. It's fun to do when you finally get a break and you can read, but it gets boring.
It does.
Crossword puzzles all the time gets boring, and it's not good for them cognitively, physically, or emotionally.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the group activities and some of the dynamics between the clients that happen under your beautiful roof.
Our biggest activity, which is where I focus, unless you want me to switch it up, is we have a man shed in the garage where my husband and other volunteers work with men and anybody else who wants to come, building a 2-seater airplane. We're working right now on our second full finished 2-seater airplane. The first one is in a hangar at Arlington.
Wow.
The second one is in the garage. Basically, it's a lot of riveting and a lot of bull and a lot of stories. They sit up there and talk. It's not about the production of the plane.
Right.
It's about men visit and bond shoulder to shoulder while they're working. Can I tell a story about how that got started?
Please do. Please do. It's amazing. I've cheated. I've been to her space multiple times. I'm in love with it. And that's why Susan's on today. But yes, please tell your story.
So I had been doing this for probably 2018. My husband retired. So I'm still working. My husband's in the garage playing. And he loves to build things. So he was out there building and playing. And I had a gentleman who could not sit and settle down. He was bored. He didn't want to do crafts. Women tend to like to sit around a table and talk to each other, and they'll pretend to do a craft or do a craft and visit, and they don't care as long as they're visiting. But he was just bored, and I couldn't keep up with him plus help the others. So I thought, wait a minute. So I walked him out to my husband's garage. And I said, hon, can you just keep an eye on him till his wife gets here? He's bored in the house. And then I promptly forgot he was there. And his wife shows up 2 hours later, and I went, oh my gosh, he's in the garage. And she said, he's never been in the garage in his life. He was an artist. So we walked out there, and my husband had pulled out 2 camp chairs, and they were sitting just shooting the bull. He loved it. And after that, she didn't even have to beg him to come here. He would come, and my husband was his best friend, and they would go to the garage. And pretty soon there was a third one out there. And then there was a gentleman who came who son, he was 90 something, his son was 70 something, both retired. So I would drop him off. And then the son started staying and helping. So I had these 5 men in the garage out there. My husband was building an airplane at the time. He had decided to build an airplane kit, a 2-seater, and they sat out there and just shot the bull. And before COVID, we were up to 8 to 10 men out there. So we just kind of pivoted. I'm really good at saying, okay, that's where it's at. Let's run that.
Complete. You're reading the signs.
Yeah. And so that's how the daycare, well, it's called the Silver Eagle Project.
Okay.
It's an umbrella company. We're the umbrella over that. It's a nonprofit. So people can donate parts or labor or whatever. And that is our biggest activity.
Yeah.
That's not our only one. We do other things in the house. We still do, I think, what people assume we would do, like puzzles and arts and crafts and seasonal decorations. And then we have programming, which every Tuesday at 2, we do a tea party.
Love it.
Which, believe it or not, is a big hit. Even the men in the garage come into it. They love it. They don't have to drink tea. They can have coffee, hot chocolate, apple juice. But they come in and sit around the table, and there's men and the women in there. And we have cookies and something to drink and visit for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And they tell the stories of their life, which is totally fascinating when we're sitting around. That's my favorite. We also have chair yoga. Some people like to watch me do that, but because I look ridiculous. I'm not coordinated. I look ridiculous. But we do it. It's good for us. And we have music, live music once a month. So
how about the garden, Susan?
Oh, and the garden.
Amazing. Tell us about that.
So again, a client came in. She loved, excuse me. She loved gardening. Her son told me she had flowers all over her house. So I invested in pots and dirt and flowers. And we stood around this table on my back deck. And there was 4 or 5 of us just planting flowers and planting and planting. And again, it's not about production. No one's in a hurry. It took 2 or 3 days to plant 12 pots of flowers. And we put them up, and she watered them and weeded them. And she taught me so much about, I mean, I put flowers out. You buy the pot at the store, they die in a month.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah. She taught me how to grow flowers and how often to water them, and to say, well, we watered them every day, but now we need fertilizer. Oh, okay, I'll get it. So to this day, she passed away 4 years ago, but her daughter comes and makes sure that I trim them back and overwinter them, comes back in the spring and makes sure I pull the pots out and shows me how to prep them to grow again. And I have they're just beautiful, hanging all over my patio and my deck. Lots and lots of fuchsias, some geraniums, and a lot of pansies. And then we have also a vegetable garden.
Yes, tell me about that.
So
what are you growing?
We took our vegetable garden from the ground into 2 foot high by, they're probably 3 by 6 foot beds. because old people have trouble getting down on their knees and weeding, and it just, they love to garden still. They did it when they were younger. So we have raised beds, and we're expanding that vegetable garden. Right now we have 6 beds. We just bought 4 more, but we're not going to put them in this summer. Well, we'll probably put them in at the end of the summer to overwinter, you know, the dirt and stuff. Because people love to get out there and play in the dirt.
Oh,
They trim, I have little clipper things. They trim, they pick, they water. I have a rose garden
yeah.
with,
Gorgeous.
yeah, like a dozen rose bushes, and I'll hand them clippers again. Rose bushes in my mind are kind of hard to kill. So if they cut all the real roses off and put them in a vase, it'll grow again next week, right?
Oh,
So yeah, the garden is a wonderful thing in the summer
it's
and the
amazing.
fall.
Well, and Susan, again, I have to tell listeners and viewers I've cheated. I've been to your space. I went to a recent tea party. It was amazing. Your grounds, gorgeous, country setting, 5 acres. You know, I'm also wondering too, you have this magnificent space. Can you tell us a little bit about the history and the layout of the space, and also how your business is expanding and growing?
Oh, thanks for asking.
Mhm.
So we are on 5 acres. My house is fairly large. It's large. I don't need to brag, but anyway, it's a large house.
You need a big house for what you do.
I do. It has a lot of bedrooms. It has a lot of bedrooms, and so we knew when our kids left home that our choice, or we felt that our choice, was to do something with it or move into something smaller.
Yeah.
And that was about the time I was looking for my father. So we just turned the whole thing into this in-home daycare. Well, that leaves a lot of bedrooms empty.
Yeah.
And we didn't care because we felt like we were using, you know, the main floor as this wonderful business that we both loved, best job we've ever had. And COVID hit. COVID changed everything. Overnight, we went down to 3 clients from 12. We went down to 3 because they had a nurse or a policeman for children, and those children still needed to go to work. And then it also came down to nurses at the time would work their shift and then have to isolate for 3 to 5 days. And so I called the state, got permission to have people, well, we could always do respite where people could spend the night.
Okay.
But they said, if you can help people, just do it. So people started staying here longer term. We could do up to a 30-day respite.
Okay.
And then they could go home for a few days and come back for another 30 days. And so during COVID, we had the opportunity. We never had a lot of clients. We had 3 to 4. Best experience emotionally of my life. It was just wonderful because these people, and I didn't go advertising. People would call me who had their loved one here in our day program and say, if I have to put my husband in care, if I do this, I will never see him again or touch him again. And I said, okay, well, I have a bedroom he can stay in, but you need to promise me that you'll never take him anywhere else. It's just your house or my house. And you have to come help.
Yeah, completely.
And depending on their work schedule or not, some women would show up every day and I'd just take care of the nights.
Wow.
So we started doing hospice at that point. It was touching. It was an amazing experience to me. These people had amazing lives and their families loved them, and didn't want to put them away, because we all knew at that point you kind of hoped you got the right ashes in the end, which was a horrible time for all of us. Sure. So as we came out of that, and tried to shift back to daycare, we heard about a thing called co-living. And new concept because of the affordability crisis in this state. And co-living is independent living. It's, for lack of a better term, it's kind of like a boarding house. They can rent a room, and a lot of our rooms have bathrooms attached. So they have their own space, and I provide meals. If they don't want that meal, they're free to go get their own. Then, it's not like they've checked into a home. They've rented the space. They can go to our day program during the day. And then we have food for them when they want it, and a sociality, especially people who are alone, their kids live far away, their spouse has passed on, or they haven't had a spouse in years. They want sociality. And it keeps you healthier to be social.
Completely. So many elders in that position. Susan, remind me, what is the criteria for co-living? What criteria does a person have to meet in order to qualify to stay
at my house? I don't think there is a criteria for co-living. I'm still, because it's fairly new on the state level, I'm still keeping up to date on exactly. I think they're still developing the wax around what they think it should look like, and I'm trying to keep up with those, and we'll adjust as we need to. Co-living, though, is independent living.
Perfect. That's
so
what we needed.
They can have slight dementia, like the beginning stages, but it's not end of life. It's not hard care. They can bring in their own home health agency to help them. So if they need help taking a shower or help dressing or help with their meds, they are more than welcome. The state says yes. If they bring in their own medical people, then that can still qualify as co-living.
That's wonderful.
But I don't provide any kind of care.
Right. I think that's an important distinction. I also, and I felt that you and I have known each other, gosh, we figured about 10 years. And I've always been fascinated and enamored of the programming you and Mark have put together, because I felt, coming from, the background of health as a rehab counselor, that what you and Mark provide is you're filling a gap in the service delivery system that simply does not exist elsewhere. And can you speak to that, that conundrum that people have? Because how might this may seem like it's coming out of left field, but how might a service of your nature be helpful to even real estate brokers who are helping elders sell their homes, or families of elders sell their homes? How would you be a resource?
Just off the top of my head, the way I can see being a resource is when someone is selling their home, the problem is when you put your parent in care, you have to spend their money. You have to spend their money till they get to a certain level before the state Medicaid will kick in and pay for it. And trying to make that dovetail is really hard, because how long is your house going to be on the market? How long is it going to take the government to approve the Medicaid? You have both of those forces pushing on you. And usually what happens, though I have had people in this situation, so not every time, is the family ends up paying an exorbitant amount of money. To me, an exorbitant amount of money is $12,000 a month of their own pocket. Why their parent is in this great facility, but they have to pay that until the house gets sold and they have free flowing cash. And So one alternative, which people have taken, is if you come to me, co-live with me for just a month or two. I don't have contracts that make you stay forever or a year.
Yeah.
While that house sells. And then when the house sells, you go enroll at wherever you want to be, and then you have that cash to be there. And there's no strain financial wise, or at least not as big a strain financial wise on the family who's covering those expenses.
Absolutely. Beautifully articulated. And I really wanted to zero in on that because I think that happens a lot. And I also hear, you know, as a hypnotherapist, I get a lot of people in my respective age bracket whose parents might live out of state, or, you know, they're in that sandwich generation, and they're so worried. You know, they've got all these apps on their phone to keep track of, you know, everything, you know, where mom is driving, or alerts on their phone that remind them to remind their parent to take their meds. And a lot of times too, they'll see these subtle declines, and mom's in the house the adult child just grown up in, and it's way too big, and they're not ready to go to assisted living or a nursing home, and they're not really interested in necessarily living in a retirement community yet. And I just think what you and Mark are offering is this beautiful softer landing or intermediary space people can go while they're thinking about what's next.
We love to think that our job is to help people learn that other people can love their parents.
Yeah.
Because I have people drop their spouse or their dad off for the first time and walk away crying because they feel like they're abandoning him.
Yeah.
And I always just give them a hug and say, it's like putting a kid in kindergarten.
Yeah.
You can't believe they're that old. Yeah. I cried the first time I put my oldest daughter in kindergarten. Couldn't believe it. But then as they relax, they realize there's not as much pressure on them. Which is a real thing. There's less guilt because they realize there's all these other people, and there's no need for this guilt. It's a fake guilt.
Yeah.
And other people can, and they love them, and their parent can enjoy other people. It's a two-way thing.
Completely.
Then it's easier to make the transition to care. Yeah. And everybody's afraid that means they're going to be put in a wheelchair, parked in front of a window, and left there till they go to bed at night.
Yeah.
But in today's world, there's a lot of alternatives.
Yeah.
And you need to take that step early enough. If I can speak to that. As we diminish in age, so when we're born, we can think our body. And then as we view the world and we get older, our view expands. And we realize there's a world out there and there's people with other ideas. As we get very old, the older we get, the worse it is, the harder it becomes for us to just do the basic things in life, and our thinking goes back like this. We might care more about the world, we know it's there, but all we can focus in is getting ourselves to do what we need to do. If you do not socialize people, then you're not going to get them out of their house. You're not going to get them away from people they remember and know. And I think if you have dementia, it makes it worse because we cope with dementia through routine. And if we have a certain routine, then our memory doesn't have to be too active. We know we get up. We know we brush our teeth. We know we get dressed. And then all of a sudden, for respite, or we're in a new spot and my bathroom doesn't look the same, my toothbrush is still there, so by keeping our parents or our loved ones active and social, instead of saying, I will do this as long as I can till I am so burned out I can't think straight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when they hit that point, then it's harder to deal with the spouse or the parent because they need that crutch of their loved one right next to them.
Completely.
Which is, they're not trying to be mean, they're just, that's the routine they established is,
Yeah.
well, if I can't remember, my wife can.
Right.
And that crutch goes away and they fall apart, which also increases the guilt and the emotional trauma you go through when you feel like you have to place them in care.
Oh, completely. Well, and again, it just drives the point home about your place and your services being that softer landing. That it and it really is you're speaking to their socio-emotional needs, but you're also speaking to the needs of the caregiver. And that's so very important. Susan, if I were to ask you, what's your mission? What's your mission? I mean, what are you trying to achieve here in terms of your programming?
That's a really good question. I haven't thought about that in years. When I started, my mission, as stated, was to have a program that bridged the gap between being at home alone and having to have medical or intense care.
Yeah.
I don't think that communities have enough. We tried, but we're just kind of learning what is the need, and it's hard to find something that bridges that gap.
Yeah.
Which leads to your softer landing.
Yeah.
So I think my mission now is to kind of help the caregiver.
Yeah.
COVID kind of shifted that to helping caregivers realize that they have help in the world, that they're not alone, and that they're, whatever emotion they're feeling, the guilt, the anger, the sadness, the mourning, all of that is okay. We understand that feeling and we validate it, and we still think you're great.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, you and Mark have very big shoulders, so to speak, because I know you're dealing with a lot of emotions. Susan, your space is amazing. All these incredible updates and expansions and programming. I know that I'm going to have you on again as you continue to grow. A couple things I want to mention. I'm going to put a link to Susan's website in the show notes, including the nonprofit program, the airplane building program that Mark heads up. And Susan, maybe I could also include your email address. And then, Susan, you had mentioned before I hit the record button, you were thinking about having a tour, maybe a grand reopening. Is it okay then, as you provide more information, if we get local listeners or viewers, maybe I can give more information on how to reach out to you to get a tour during those dates?
You bet.
June.
Do you want me to send you a flyer, or would you like me to just?
Well, I'll put information in the show notes, and then I'll definitely include flyers or any other information in my newsletter, because I think, once again, I serve a lot of people in our respective age bracket, and these services that you provide are invaluable. One thing I'll mention, again, we'll do a whole nother podcast another time, is Susan and Mark and I have decided to collaborate and in that, I want to mention that I will, or now officially have office space inside Leeside Manor offering caregiver relief. So hypnotherapy for caregiver relief, and also helping people move through the grief and loss process. What I love about this collaboration, Susan, is that if people have a loved one, if they're a caregiver, they can quite possibly coordinate care for their loved one under your services while receiving hypnotherapy under my services. And so we think it's a pretty neat collaboration, and I'll drop some information in the show notes about that. Susan, anything else that you can think of that you want caregivers or families to know about what you provide?
No,
No, we covered a lot of
I want people to know more than anything that guilt over caring for a loved one is usually fake guilt.
Fake guilt.
And I don't know the proper terms. That's why they need to see you, Amy. And see you and deal with it.
Right.
And by fake guilt, I mean, it's, of course we feel bad. We want to do everything for our loved ones, but that's not reality. The reality is we can't. The reality is it is hard.
Yeah.
I could care for everyone but my mother. My mother would not let me care for her because she knew what I did for a living. So it fell to my sister. Yeah. And that's when I realized this is all fake guilt. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I get it. Those are normal feelings. We understand them. But also it's okay to accept help from other people. We can't keep all of these balls in the air, especially if we're working. Especially, I'll mention one other conundrum that a lot of my clients are dealing with in the sandwich generation is that, you as a caregiver may have health issues of your own. And it's very hard when you're putting on fumes, when you're trying to organize your own doctor's appointment, and health challenges and barriers even to living a more fulfilling life, to layer in all the things that one or both of your parents need. So thank goodness for you and Mark, Susan. I have absolutely loved our time. This has been the best interview ever. And like I said, I'm going to drop all kinds of fascinating, useful, helpful information about Susan and Mark's business in the show notes. Reach out to them for tours, reach out to them if you have questions. Even if you're not sure of the extent to their services or what they can and can't do, call them, ask them questions. You are two of the most awe-inspiring local business owners to me I've ever met, and I'm always very excited to share what you do with my clients. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Absolutely. Susan, until next time, have a great day.
Thank you. You too.